Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and welcome to another video where I'm sharing how I'm styling my hand sewn and hand knit clothes. This is a video in a series of Me Made May. I'm sharing what I'm wearing every day of the month, and I'm also sharing the sorts of things I'm making along the way. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm a music teacher and a mum, and I've just come home from work. Today is Monday, the 19th of May. So I was really excited when I saw the forecast for today because it was finally going to be cold enough for me to wear my brand new knitted cardigan, the Whitmore cardigan by Amy Loudon. So this one is one I started last September. It's knit in 8-ply yarn, and the wool that I've used is a beautiful combination of merino, silk and cashmere, I think. And it is so soft and beautiful to wear. And I'm so excited to be finally wearing it. The Whitmore cardigan is available as a sweater or as a cardigan, and obviously I have made the cardigan version. I had to think about whether I would want to make the pullover or the sweater, and I decided that a cardigan will be more useful in my wardrobe. I do wear a lot of pinafores, and so I often wear open cardigans, and then the fact that you can button it all the way up, it kind of acts as a jumper anyway. So that is what I have done. If you've been following along with my journey for a little while, you might remember that this was quite a tricky one for me to make, mainly because of the way the button bands are knit. The lace I actually didn't have any trouble with. I absolutely love this lace work that's there. It's all around the yoke. But what was tricky was that you have the button bands on double pointed needles. They're sort of held the whole time you knit the bodice. You have most of the stitches on like a long circular needle cable, but you also have the ends of each row on double pointed needles. And every beginning and end of each row, I just really struggled with coordinating all these needles. And I did drop stitches several times and I found it quite frustrating. Yeah, I didn't love that part of knitting up this cardigan, but it was nice once I did get to that finished hemband that I'd already done the button band and didn't have to worry about that anymore. So I've worn this today with a woolen skirt. I bought this tartan fabric from My Design last year and I love this fabric. So I've made a few of these skirts. This is a pattern by Caledonia Dreamin', a French pattern designer, and the pattern is called the Tiama. So the Tiama can be made as either a little pinafore or just as a mini skirt. And I have made the mini skirt 3 times and it gets a lot of wear in the winter. And this is probably my favorite one, but perhaps gets the least wear just because it has a pattern on it. So I can't mix and match it with everything. So that's why I was so excited to have this cardigan, because I think they go beautifully together. And then as you can see from the photo, I have teamed it with my brown boots and blue tights, and then underneath I've just worn just a ready to wear white long sleeve top. So I was very comfortable in this outfit today. I love the way this cardigan feels. It was very comfortable. Now this pattern has 2 sleeve options. You can make a like a balloon sleeve, which I love the look of, and I actually was planning to make that version in the first place. I really do love the look of that. It looks so cozy. In the end, I decided for 2 reasons I would just go ahead and make just the plain old tapered sleeve. And those reasons were, first of all, I wanted to get it finished faster. And secondly, because I knew this would fit under a jacket a lot more easily. So that is what I have done. So I'm very happy to get my first wear out of this cardigan today. I'm looking forward to trying it with some other items in my wardrobe. When I was deciding on the color I wanted to get, I really did try and think about a color that would match with a lot of things in my wardrobe. So this will obviously go with blue jeans, black jeans. We'll see what else I can find to wear it with. But yeah, it won't be the last time I wear this May, I think. I'm very proud of it and I'm very happy to have worn it today. Hello again. I didn't get a chance to film yesterday, Tuesday, so I'm going to take you back there now before I talk about today's outfit. So yesterday, Tuesday, the 20th of May, another freezing morning, but another beautiful blue sky afternoon. And I decided to wear an Aura pinafore for the first time this month. and this is a pattern by Soften Studio. The Aura Pinafore is a really long A-line V-neck at the front and the back pinafore dress, and I've made a couple of them. And this one I've made, I think it was in like a hemp twill. So it's black and white threads, and then it looks from a distance like a grey dress. I'm 160 centimeters tall, and so for my Aura Pinafores, I've taken 6 inches off the length. So, and it's still very long on me. So you can see it's a very long pinafore, but it's a really nice cozy one. And I've worn it over the top of the Freya top by Tilly and the Buttons, which is a close fitting long t-shirt with a mock neck. I've reduced the height of my neckband because I was finding with the original one I made, it was just a bit too high and I was always folding it down. So this one I just made it a bit shorter. The fabric that I've used for that one is one of my favorite fabrics, and it's by Dupes Designs. It's got such a cute design, the pink and green pattern on the white background. And I love the way it works with this Aura Pinafore. This top for me, I guess with the high neckline and then the fact that it's fitted, it's not something that I feel comfortable wearing by itself, but I think then having that plunging V neckline, there's something about the two that go really, really nicely together. I guess it kind of makes an illusion of the eye doesn't feel like that top has got so much fabric anymore. Obviously some of it's covered up because of that very low V. But then of course the V is fine because you've got a top on underneath, if that makes sense. So yeah, the Aura Pinafore, it's not one that you could wear without a top underneath. It's definitely designed as a pinafore, the Aura Pinafore. And then I wore my long green Marlowe sweater over the top. I also did take one of my shawls. I took my new one, the pink Glow Hair Frost shawl, and I had a couple of moments throughout the day where I had that on. So depending on what room I was in, my office was really hot, outside was cold, classrooms were in the middle. So yeah, I was on and off with the layers all day and very comfortable. And then black tights and boots to finish off that outfit. One thing I will say about the Aura Pinafore is because of that A-line shape, the hem, I mean, obviously the sides, they're cut so much on the bias. So I do kind of get a feeling with this particular pinafore that the hemline for mine isn't very straight. I think there's been a little bit of stretching down the sides. So I'm a little bit self-conscious about that, but it's probably not something that other people are noticing, but it is something to keep in mind if you're making the Aura Pinafore, that those side seams, because they're cut on the bias, you could end up with kind of a wonky hemline. And now today it is Wednesday, the 21st of May. And once again, a very, very cold start. It is getting increasingly difficult to get out of bed, and then it finds into a really beautiful blue sky day again. I think the forecast maximum today was 17 degrees. Most of the time though, it's a lot colder than that. So today I have worn layers again. I've worn my Orchard dress by Helen's Closet. So I wore this one day last week, I think. It's a free pattern and it can be made as a top or a dress. And I've made mine in black linen from Spotlight. And this gets a lot of wear just as a layering piece. The main way I wear mine is underneath my knitted tops. So the one that I'm wearing today, for example. So the one that I am wearing today is the So Faded sweater by Andrea Mowry. And I made this a few years ago. And I just love this pattern. I love the fact that it's got a fade. She gives you instructions in the pattern, depending on how many different colors you want to mix together, how to do that, how to figure out the maths of how many rows you need to do depending on the size that you're making. I used 5 colors, I think, in mine. And I bought it from a shop in, I never remember the place, somewhere in Europe that specializes in fade sets on sock weight yarn. Yeah, and I love it. So it starts with this kind of pink and cream and a tiny bit of gold coming through, and then going into richer colors and earthier colors as you get down to the hemline. So it's a fun one to wear. The neckline for this, it's a bit wide, so I have to be careful about what I'm wearing it with, or what I think it looks good with. It's quite a close fitting jumper. As you can see, the sleeves are really close fitting. I decided to not go completely full length on the sleeves for this one. That was intentional, slightly shorter. Some of the pictures that Andrea had in her designs, like they were even shorter than this. So yeah, you make them how you like them. So these work fine for me. And there is only one thing I would want to warn you about if you're making this jumper, and I mentioned it when I did make it, and I think it's in a video from 2022 if you want to hear me talking more about it. But the beginning of the round, very unusually, so you're knitting this from the top down, but the beginning of the round is right in the center. I think it's around there. Yeah, I think it's around there. You can sort of see it. And then once you've separated the sleeves, then the beginning of the round moves to a sleeve, moves to one of the underarms. And if I was going to make this again, or if I was going to advise anyone on making this jumper, I would say just use the one color until you've done the separating of the sleeves, because I see this every time I look at it. And I was telling my mum about this when I made it, and she said exactly the same thing. She said she found it really peculiar that the beginning of the round would be right in the front center. It's just weird. So look, I'm sure most other people don't see it, but it is definitely obvious to me. And yeah, it's one thing I would definitely change if I was making it again. So there you go. Yeah, again, tights and boots to round out this outfit. And then I've just got a long sleeve bamboo top underneath that I didn't make. My children are with their dad tonight, so I'm hoping to get a little bit more done on my Audrey dress, denim pinafore. I'll show you where I'm up to. This pattern, the Audrey pattern, has a lot of different elements that you can mix and match to make the dress or blouse of your choice. I'm making a sleeveless V-neck pinafore dress for myself, and I'm using a blue denim that I got from Spotlight. So I have just attached the facing around the neckline, and I didn't have enough denim for the facing, so I found this fun dinosaur lightweight cotton in my stash that I thought would work well. And yeah, the next thing I've got to do is just trim back and notch around this seam, and then I'm going to do the burrito method to enclose the rest of that facing onto the pinafore. And then I'll sew up the side seams, do the hem, and I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully I'll get a few more steps done of that tonight. We'll see how we go. And yeah, I might do some knitting, not really sure. Might make some soup, haven't really decided, but I've got a few hours to myself before I'll try and get to bed. So we'll see what I end up doing, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Hello again. I've had a really busy few days with my children and work. It's now Sunday evening, and it's the first chance I've had to get back on in front of the camera. So let's head back to Thursday. Thursday, I decided to wear my other Aura pinafore. This is the first one I made, and this is in a really beautiful corduroy that I bought from Wattle Hill Fabrics. And the quality of it is just absolutely stunning. It's such a lovely heavyweight corduroy, and I really love the way this one looks. I think because it's a bit more structured than my grey Aura pinafore, it doesn't look as long, and I think the hemline has also kept its shape a bit better. I don't have that same feeling that the hemline looks wonky with this one. So I feel really great in this one. It's extremely comfortable and cozy and perfect for a cold day. So I'm sure I'll get more wear out of this one as we head further into the winter. This is the first time I've worn it this year, and it was really nice to have that reminder of how much I enjoy it. So this week I wore it with an Anthea blouse and a novice cardigan. This is a combination that I noticed I loved from last year's Me Made May, and I wanted to wear it again this year. So the Anthea blouse is made in a quilting cotton from Rifle Paper Company, and I did buy this directly from Rifle Paper Company. My work colleagues know that I love Rifle Paper Company designs, and a few years back when I turned 40, a few people put in for a voucher for me to Rifle Paper Company website. So this was one of the fabrics that I picked up then, and this one is so beautiful. I just love the floral design on this, and it's also got some metallic little pops in it as well, which I think look really pretty. This one I've made in the long sleeve version, so There are two different lengths for the sleeves. They're very, very similar in length. One for me hits just above the elbow. The other one goes below. So this one is below the elbow. And I think using this quilting cotton, you really get that volume in the puffy sleeve on this one. And then the Novice cardigan by Petite Knit is the second one I made. So I did make a brown one. I wore that last week. And then this week I wore this kind of teal color, which I think is really beautiful. It does get a lot of wear as well. It seems to go with a lot of things in my wardrobe. So I think this works really, really nicely with this blouse. And then again with some tights and boots. So yes, I love the way this combination looks. It's funny, I was thinking about this a little bit this week, whether my opinions or my taste in clothes, how much of it is influenced by what I see on sort of sewing Instagram or sewing YouTube, because this is not the kind of dress you really see apart from, well, I see it a lot on Instagram from other sewers, but I don't see it, you don't see it on the high street, or you don't see it around much. And I wonder, because I love the look of it, and I wonder how other people who don't sew look at it on me, and whether they think, what a strange thing to be wearing, a great big long corduroy dress, or whether they appreciate it as well. I know there are definitely patterns that I remember seeing for the first time on Instagram and going, what is that? Why would anyone want to wear that? For example, the sagebrush top with all the frills, and it wasn't very much longer until I then loved it too and made one myself. And I wonder if just seeing it over and over, or having that exposure to it, it becomes more normal looking. Yeah, so it's interesting. I would love to know what people who, I mean, I could just ask them, I suppose. I wonder if I'd get an honest answer. Does this look weird? Or does this look stylish? I don't know. Anyway, I love it. I was comfortable in it, and that was Thursday. Friday, we were forecast to get a little bit of rain, and I knew I had yard duty as well, outdoor yard duty. I had quite a bit of teaching on too, and so I wanted to wear layers because, once again, just depending where I am, you just never know how warm or cold the environment is going to be. So I wore a York pinafore on Friday. I wore my blue corduroy one. This is quite a lightweight corduroy, completely different to the Thursday dress. So quite a short York pinafore with opaque tights and boots. And then underneath this, I wore a ready-to-wear white long sleeve top. And then I put on my Marlowe sweater, my long sleeve Marlowe in a green brushed cotton from My Design, and then a shawl over the top. Now, this shawl that I wore is a design by West Knits, Stephen West, and it was his 2023 Hibernate Along pattern. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. It was something about snowflake, something like that. I will have the name of it written on the screen as I talk about it. But I absolutely loved this pattern. Similar to the pink one that I made this year, this one has a whole lot of sections that just keep changing, so it keeps you interested. This one also used a fade, so from a light color down to a darker color. And for this one, I received a kit for Christmas. I told my mum I wanted to make this shawl, and I sent her to a website that was selling 5 or 6 different kits, and I asked for one of them for Christmas. But I wanted it to be a surprise. So I let her choose it, and I love it. And it was interesting because I think if I was given the chance to choose one of the kits, I wouldn't have chosen this one. So it worked out perfectly because I absolutely love this combination of colors. From a distance, it kind of looks like just a sort of very pale, kind of silvery gray. And then the darkest color is a dark brown. But if you look more closely, as you sort of go into those darker colors, in the middle of the shawl, there's so many different speckles of different colors that came through, and that was so fun to work with, and I love the overall effect. I think it goes really nicely with this outfit, and I was very comfortable on Friday. So the York Pinafore by Helen's Closet has a couple of different views. There's one kind of scoop necked one, and then there's one that's higher. I've made the higher neck version. And then there's 2 different pocket options. So one of them is a kangaroo pocket, and the other one is patch pockets. I prefer this pinafore when you can't see the neckline of the top I'm wearing underneath. This particular top, it does peek out over the top. Not a big deal, but it is something that I remember thinking when I was wearing this on Friday. So Now we're at the weekend. Yesterday, Saturday the 24th of May, I had just a pretty standard day with my kids. I took one of them to a guitar lesson in the morning. We had a couple of hours at home, and then we went to a musical at my school. I wasn't involved in this one. I did teach a lot of students who were in it, so it was lovely to go and support them. But I took my two boys with me. So I didn't want to look too casual because although it was a Saturday, I did need to look presentable. I didn't want to wear my tracksuit, for example, on this day. So I wore my black jeans, ready to wear jeans, and I wore my Whitmore cardigan again. So I did wear that one on Monday, and I wanted to wear it again yesterday. So just as I hoped, these worked really, really nicely with the jeans. I did tuck them in at the front. The hemline of this cardigan is a little bit kind of loose and relaxed, and I prefer the look of this one when it's tucked in at the front. So that is what I have done. And I wore it over a white t-shirt yesterday, and I wore it with my new black shoes. I've never bought loafers before, and I decided to buy some black loafers. I felt strange in them because I've never worn them. I wasn't sure if they suited me or how to wear them, how to style them, but I just decided to go for it for the day, and I think this outfit works. And I'll try and get some more wear out of them. I think now as the weather is getting cooler, I'm going to prefer to wear boots more often than not. So maybe these won't get as much wear as they would have in earlier autumn. But you know, I'm hoping these last for many years to come, just like my most recent pair of black shoes did that I just replaced. They were just a pair of ballet flats, but they completely wore out. I would have had them for at least 7 years, I reckon. So I reckon I did pretty well out of them, and yeah, it was good to get a new pair of shoes. And today, Sunday, the 25th of May, we had soccer in the morning, an away game, so we had a bit of a drive to that. And then this afternoon, I took my kids to see the new Lilo and Stitch movie. I'd actually never seen the original, so I had no idea what to expect, but I had heard it was a good movie, so we decided to go. So today I have worn a Billy sweatshirt. So this is a pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, and I really, really love this pattern. There are a couple of different options for this. You can make it as a sweater or a jumper, or you can wear it as a sweater dress. And I have made, on this occasion, the sweater version. There are different sleeve options. You can just make a standard sleeve, or you can make the puff sleeve. And as you can see, I've made the puff sleeve on this one. So the fabric I've used to make this one is a Tencel merino blend, and it's got this really lovely drape to it. And I used a black ribbing for the neckband and the cuffs and the hemband. I think my favorite feature of this top has got to be the sleeves. So I've made the balloon sleeve version where you have this lovely drape that goes over the cuff band. And I think in this fabric it works really beautifully. Wearing it today was a reminder to get this one out more often because I don't think I've worn this all year. So yes, my Billy sweatshirt, and then I wore it with, again, the same black jeans as I wore yesterday. The forecast was actually pretty warm today. It was going to be 19 degrees. It was a beautiful sunny day, and I did have my new beanie that I'd made ready to wear at my son's soccer match. And when I got there, I thought I wouldn't even need it because it was so sunny and quite warm in the sun. As it turned out though, we were standing in the shade to watch the game, and it was quite cold in the shade. So I was very happy to have my beanie, and I wore it the whole time. And I think it looks really, really cute. So this is the retro style beanie by Knitwits and Yarns. It's a free pattern. It's knit up with 2 strands of 8-ply wool on 8mm needles. It knits up really, really fast. I love knitting it, and I really enjoyed wearing it today. Yeah, if you're looking to make a beanie in team colors, I would highly recommend this pattern. So that sums up everything I wore this week. What have I been making? I haven't had a lot of time to do very much, to be honest. I was hoping on Wednesday night to get a few more steps of my Audrey dress done, and I did get one step done, but it took me quite a long time. And that was sewing up, using the burrito method, one of the shoulder seams. And I did it, but gosh, it took such a long time. And the main reason was I had to pull the whole dress through quite a small channel. And the first time I tried, it all got twisted and I thought I'd done something wrong, and I ended up unpicking it just to check that I'd done the right thing. I tried again. It took ages to sort of guide that through, but I got it through, nothing tore, and yeah, now I know that I did it right, and I just have to do the other side. So it's very creased now because it's all been pulled all the way through that channel. I then have to do the other side, and then I have to sew up the side seams, and then I have to hem it. So a little bit more to go, and yeah, I'll definitely finish that at some point this week. It probably won't be tonight because I've got quite a bit of schoolwork to do. Schoolwork has been taking up quite a lot of my time and also my mental energy. I've got a big concert on this week, and I'm a little bit anxious about all the preparations for that. And also it's kind of a crunch time for all the assessments for my classes as well. So we've got lots of tests, lots of assessing, reporting to be done. So it feels like this week is just a really, really big week. And in fact, after this concert on Tuesday, I'll be able to breathe a little bit more. Because yeah, that's definitely at the forefront of my mind at the moment. And I'm kind of not even allowing myself to do any sewing until I feel more in control. I did do a tiny bit of knitting. So I'm working on a Nordic bloom vest by Caitlin Hunter of Boylan Knitworks, and I've started the color work. So it's not much, but I'll show you where I've got up to. It's kind of curling a bit, so it's hard to show you, but you can see I've finished the hemband, and I've just done a few rows of the color work. So that's just the bottom of one flower. So I think I'm on about row 4 of that. There's about 21 rows maybe. Let's have a look. About 41 rows of the color work to do. So that'll keep me busy for a little while longer before I then have to tackle what comes next. So that's everything for this week. There are 6 more days of May to go, so I will continue to share what I wear every day this week, and I'll have another video up next weekend. In the meantime though, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.